Oh, we're live on Hoggs vlog again. How are we going? Namaste to everyone in India. Hello to everyone over there in America and Australia. There's a few followers there as well. Sam Colgan's there. Anish Vavitala, thank you very much. Akul, Kasina, Anish, Arkota, how you going, guys? So thanks very much for joining me. Last night, Sunrisers Hyderabad, they should have won that game. Just tactically, they got it wrong. That's what we're going to talk about live on Hoggs vlog today. Roll bumper shubs. Well, let's get straight into the talking points. The difference was the fielding, and this is what I'm loving about CSK. Yes, they've got an old team, but their old brigade and their younger brigade are showing a little bit of lifeness out in the ground, if you can call it lifeness. Is that a word? Oh, I think it is in the English dictionary. If it's not, we'll get it in there. So let's just take a few examples last night of the fielding of CSK. The first slide, please, Shubs, if we can get it up. We've got Duplessis. That was a fantastic catch out on the deep. Now, for youngsters out there, look out the eye line. Look how the head's still. Look how he's watching the ball all the way into his hands. That's why he's been one of the greatest slips fielders and outfielders in international cricket. And that's why he's so valuable for CSK. And that's why he's put in the deep a lot. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, there's going to be a few quick slides here of CSK fieldsmen sliding around in the deep. You've got to learn how to dive if you want to be a prominent fielder. Shubs, are we getting that through? Yes. There we go. That's not the catch. That's just before the catch, but that ball has just bounced in front of Duplessis about a couple of meters, and he's just watched it again all the way into his hands. That's how you do it. Watch it all the way, and just look how he's got the left arm in place, coming forward to brace for the landing as well, and those feet are just going in straight line to the direction where the ball is going. There's Duplessis. That's the catch out in the deep. Again, we can just see that momentum going straight to the ball. He's going in a straight line from the fielding position he was originally in to that spot where he thinks the ball's going to go, and that takes a lot of practice. Okay, let's flick through. I've got a Jadeja fielding. There's Gaikwad. Look at him. He was sensational last night, and this little whippet here, I love the way that he is in the field. He gets the ball over the stumps. He's quick. He turns twos into ones. He's a bright light for India moving forward, and his batting was superb last night as well. So this kid's becoming a good all-round cricketer. And then let's go to the next one, the legend, Jadeja. He is the best all-rounder going around in international cricket at the moment in all three formats, fielding, bowling and batting. Sensational stuff. Now, let's just have a quick look at Sunrisers Hyderabad, their fielding performance. Pandey. He's one of my favourites, but last night that was an effort that's unexpected of him. Normally he would take those catches. I don't know whether he didn't pick it up out in the deep or he misjudged the length of the ball that was hit out to him, but that's just landed a metre in front of him. And look how far he's in from the fence. He's not in from the fence that far. He misread it, and that was a costly catch because CSK hadn't lost a wicket at that stage, and they were firing along, and Suchit wasn't having a good day with the ball as well. If he took that catch, it would have given him a little bit more confidence. Okay, next topic, we've got Sunrisers tactics last night. Now, Sunrisers knew that CSK were going to come out and blast away in the power play or try and get as many runs in the power play as they possibly could because they knew that Rashid Khan was the match winner in those middle overs, someone who keeps it tight, puts the pressure on with that, as well as taking wickets. Now, let's look at some of the fields that Sunrisers Hyderabad had last night against CSK. If we can quickly get them up, please, Shubs. Now, that's early on in the piece. That's Rashid's first over. He's got 5 in the ring, but the thing is he's got his mid-off and mid-on out on the deep. Now, these particular batsmen aren't confident of using their feet to Rashid Khan. They need wickets out this time. They need to keep pressure on, and they've got to bring one of those players up mid-on or mid off. I'd bring mid on up and try and get them to play against the spin because they don't read the wrong one as well. So they'd be very uncomfortable going over mid on. So just lighten that up and try and encourage the batsmen to go over mid on. They did not do that and they lost an opportunity there. Next slide, please, Shubs. Oh, there it is. Beautiful. Now we see that there's a movement later on in the second over where they brought that backward point over into a mid-wicket region, and they've got two mid-wickets there. I don't know why you've got two mid-wickets with a bowler that's turning the ball away from right-handed batsmen. Yes, he's got the wrong one, but the wrong one's there to create wickets, and you want to leave gaps there to entice the batsman to play through that gap where you're creating a bigger gap for the bowler to get that wrong and through bat pad. So for me, that was another blunder. And then they bring the first slip in play in the third or fourth over of Rashid Khan. I think it was the fourth over, when he just got an outside edge the ball before. So they were chasing the game, Sunrisers Hyderabad. So tactics have to be a little bit different moving forward from Sunrisers Hyderabad. And the thing with that, come back to me, Shubs, is Sunrisers Hyderabad are on the bottom of the ladder. They needed to win this particular fixture to get their season going, and they didn't take those opportunities. They didn't take those calculated risks that would have been in their favour. All right, just quickly over to Jadeja and Pandey. I just want to have a quick look at the way that Jadeja lined up Pandey last night. It was just beautiful bowling, beautiful tactics. So young off-spinners out there playing in the shorter form of the game when you've got someone going after the bowling. Look at the early on the over. He bowls a wider delivery. He bowled two wider deliveries to Pandey in a row, and one just fell short of Reiner out short cover. That was that particular ball. Then later on in the over to Pandey, he cramped him up for room. So he's not allowing the batsman to line him up and get used to one type of delivery. Now, if we come back to me, please, Shubs. Just looking at Jadeja there, some of the younger spinners that are coming through in the IPL seem to just be bowling the same line all the time and the same pace. Such last night was a little too slow as well. And batsmen can line you up if you don't have that variation. And that's why Jadeja, with his fielding batting, but with his bowling, he's got a lot of smarts. He doesn't turn the ball a lot, but he knows how to set the batsman up, how to keep it tight on the batsman. He knows his limitations, and he plans well against the opposition teams. We can talk about David Warner. I know there's going to be some questions about his slow batting last night, but I thought he batted beautifully, even though he wasn't timing the ball. It was a lesson for youngsters out there. Even though you're not timing the ball, you don't throw your wicket away, you still keep playing the basics. And he still was playing the shots that he's accustomed to. He wasn't trying to play anything outside of that range of shots that he's not accustomed to. So he kept his game plan. He just kept hitting fielders, and he couldn't find his timing last night. So he was lucky that Pandey at the other end was doing a job. I thought they were 10 runs short, at least Sunrisers Hyderabad. So we've got a couple of games tonight. I've got one set of teams for you. This is the first game, the Mumbai Indians up against the Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals, they've got a big opportunity against this big juggernaut tonight. So for me, I'd bring Milne into this lineup and have four outright quicks, and you have Chahar and Pandey as your spinners as well. I just think on this Delhi wicket, there's a little bit more for the quicks than the spinners, especially early on. So that's the change that I'd make. And then let's go to Rajasthan Royals. Well, that's the team that I'd go with. I'm thinking about Unacat instead of Gopal, but I'm just thinking of that juggernaut of big middle order hitting of the Mumbai Indians. I'm suspecting that they struggle a little bit more against leg spin than the pace of Unacat. And I just think if you have Unacat in there, you've got three left arm quicks there that are bowling a similar nature. So for me, Rajasthan Royals have got to play on the fact that Mumbai Indians need to win this. Mumbai Indians are thinking that they should pencil this in for a win. If they lose against Rajasthan Royals, a bottom team, well, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now we've got KKR playing as well tonight. Who are they up against? They are up against the Delhi Capitals. So for the Delhi Capitals, I'd make one change. I'd bring Norkie in for Rabada. Rabada hasn't been living up to his expectations. Norkie last year was brilliant. He's good in the power play overs, and he's good in the death overs as well. Yeah, you need to keep Smith, Hetmeyer, and Stoinis as those batting options, and Stoinis with an option with the ball as well, just in case one of the main bowlers don't go. And for KKR, I'd be tempted to swap Cummins over and bring in Ferguson. I just think Cummins hasn't been living up to his standard as well with the ball, hasn't been getting those early wickets, and just hasn't really done the job as well. So bad luck to Paddy Cummins. So let's get straight into the questions. And, oh, God, I've gone over 10 minutes just because of the two games. Madhav Luthra, how are you? Or Luthra, as we'd say here in Australia. Don't you think that Williamson should have been sent in at number 3? No, I don't. I think Pandey is the perfect number 3. I think when they were down there at Chennai, the ball wasn't coming onto the bat and he was struggling with his timing. He didn't have such a high strike rate. But last night we saw the ball coming onto the bat a little bit more, and he was finding his timing, and he was going out a good strike rate. If it wasn't for Pandey out there, Sunrisers Hyderabad would have got around about 130, 140. And that's the way that you've got to set it up. You've got to have Pandey out number 3, Williamson out number 4, because you need Williamson to control those middle overs if you lose 2 early wickets. And you still have Pandey a little more aggressive out number 3. So Williamson's the fixer-upper. And a fixer-upper, that's a saying over here in Australia. If things don't go right out the top order, Pandey is up there on the wickets where the ball's coming on to take more risks. So it's a good observation, but I still prefer Pandey at 3. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Akul Chowdhury, how are you going? What happened to David Warner? He is playing so slow nowadays, and is Ruturaj the future of the Indian team? Okay, David Warner last night, yes, he was frustrated. Now, youngsters out there, as you could see, it was you could tell that frustration on with his body language. He was shaking his head. He was lifting his head up as such. Now, when you're in that situation and you're not finding your timing, just go away, take a few deep breaths and go, okay, what are the options that I can do right now just to push the ball into the deep and just try and slowly find my timing, because Pandey at the other end's going so well. I've probably got 4 or 5 balls in this middle period where I can just slow it down a little bit and find my timing. And once you get 2 or 3 in the deep, and then you can pounce on top of that. I just think he was trying to hit the ball too hard for too often. And just out the back end of the innings, he started to find those boundaries. So he was just trying to force the issue too much in the middle part of his innings. That was what was wrong with David Warner last night. And plus, he likes the ball coming on. And the other thing, opposition teams are bowling well to him. They're cramping him up for room. They're not giving him those big options of hitting through that point region on the offside, but also they're not bowling short enough so he can whip it over square leg, the shot that he likes. They're bowling at a good length that's just on thigh pad height and out the body, leg stump, middle stump, no room. So that's why David Warner's batting so slow. And Ruturaj, I'm really liking this kid. Is he the next big thing for India? Oh, he's definitely going to play for India. There's no doubt about that. There's just a couple of things that I just need him to tighten up on. Last night, I loved the way that he played against Rashid Khan. He wasn't prepared to get beaten on the inside edge, and that's what you've got to have as a right-handed batsman when the ball's turning away. He's just got to read that spinner just a little bit more, and that's going to come with experience. But the way that he didn't shy away from attacking Rashid Khan just put him up there as not far off opening the batting for India at test level. And the quicks, I like his technique, how he likes to play straight down the ground. I see him more of a test playing option than a T20 option for India moving forward, just with what I've seen. But he looks like a beautiful kid. I love his energy in the field. Everything about him tells me that he's definitely going to be India, but I think it's going to be more in the longer formats of the game rather than the T20 format. Good question there, Akal. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Oh, Shazwat Jar, how you going? Thanks again for your little donation, and hope everything's all right in Bahar. Who is the better captain in IPL, Dhoni or Rowett, and why? Another question, should Lynn be playing in the 11 instead of de Kock? No, I wouldn't have Lynn in the 11. I'd have de Kock in the 11. I just think that's the strength of the Mumbai Indians. They back their lineup. I think they're going to be on a different wicket tonight. The ball's going to come on, and I think you've got to give the opportunity to de Kock there to find that form. If he doesn't perform tonight, well, then you might bring Lynn in the next game because he's been given the opportunity on a fresh wicket. Dhoni and Rowett, who's the better captain? Look, you can't take away what Dhoni's done for India and what Dhoni's done for CSK. He's had a wonderful, wonderful period of captain in both I'm not going to say that Rowett's better than him either. I think Rowett is a fantastic T20 cricket captain. And I'm loving the way that Virat Kohli is actually using Rohit Sharma more for India, when India play the T20 format now, because he realises that Rohit's got so much experience, so much knowledge, and so much to give the Indian cricket. So I think they're working well together. I think Rohit, if he had the opportunity of being a captain for India in the T20 format, I think India would still have a lot of success. But I just like the relationship that he's formed with Kohli now, so I don't think they really need to change it right now. But Rowett, you can't beat the success that he's had in IPL cricket. But when you go to international cricket, it's a little different as well. So, but he's had a good record there, captaining for India as well. I'm not gonna tell you who's better than Dhoni or Rowett, because it's disrespectful to Dhoni, and it's disrespectful to Indian cricket as well, because Dhoni's just been such a hero. I hope you don't mind me sitting on the fence in that one. They're two legends of the game. Sam Colgan, how you going, mate? Should teams bat first or chase out Ahmedabad? The average first innings score in Ahmedabad in the first two matches of this season is 147. Do you see Kartik Tyagi making the 11 tonight? That's another option that they could go with, having Tyagi come in in the game tonight. I think he's a quick bowler, gets good bounce, and it could be a different option rather than playing three left-arm quicks. I'd prefer them go that way. It's either Tyagi or Gopal going in there, but I still think against the Mumbai Indians, they'll go with the leg spinners. They might feel that the Mumbai Indians have more trouble against leg spin than the quicker bowlers. Ahmedabad, do you bat first? Well, you'd like to bat second out Ahmedabad, but the thing is, knowing that the par score batting first is 147, you want to try and get more than that. You want to try and get that up to about 165, 170 for me. So I'd like to chase out Ahmedabad, and then you know what total the opposition team's got, and you know what to chase. When you're trying to set on a wicket that you're unsure about, it's very difficult to know whether you be more aggressive at the start or you be a little bit more conservative, because you want those wickets in hand. So chasing is the game, but if you bat first, you don't worry about par score. You just try and get as many runs on the board and back your game plan, and let your players go out there and play with freedom. If they come off, they come off. So you have a couple of players that will take those big risks and a couple of players that will play conservatively. If you've lost a couple of wickets, then you're in a little bit of trouble, and just try and work your way to 130, 140 and hope that your bowlers can defend it. And that's the way the Scorchers played when I was playing for them for 5 years. Whatever the batsman put on the board, we felt that we could defend it, and that's the attitude that bowlers have got to have if they're bowling second. Okay, good question there, Sam. Vasant Narain, how are you? Or Narain. We see Pant making small technical mistakes regularly. Should punter help him more? And is captaincy weighing on Pant natural game? And what should DC do to maintain consistency? Your take. Well, for me tonight, I think they've got to swap Nortke for Rabada. For me, I just think Pant's getting a little bit too creative. He plays that shot where he just stands there and doesn't move his feet. Yes, it's come off, but I'm starting to think that he's just getting a bit too ahead of himself at the moment. He's got to get back to the technique that when he was over here in Australia playing in that test series where he just took the game away. I still think you've got to have a basic technique in T20 cricket. You can't just stand there and play those flick shots that he does without moving the feet. I think there's got to be more footwork there. The way that he's batting with DC, I just think he's trying to do a MS Dhoni type role now. Bat a little bit of time through those middle overs, knowing that he is the one that can find the boundaries in the back end as well. So his role is trying to change a little bit than what he would be with India. Is just try and bat a bit of time and then dominate out the back end. And I think that's something that he's trying to add to his game. And I don't mind him doing that as long as he comes off more times than not in that back end. Because if you waste those balls in the middle overs and then don't do the job out the back end, you've cost your team. Captaincy's not weighing on him. I think the captaincy is a good thing for him. But I'd just like to see a little bit more energy through the stumps. We had that yesterday or the day before with Pant, where he didn't get up to the stumps. As a keeper, you've got to get up to the stumps and give a target to your fielders. Tell you what, Vasant, you've given me a few questions in there. Hopefully I've answered them all. Just quickly going through the question again before we go to the next one, and I think I have. Tanmoy Chakraborty, how are you going, mate? Has KKR got the right 11? Mavi, Krishna were impressive in the last 11, and also Sunil Narayan. Look, for me, I think out the back end, relying on Russell to bowl those death overs, I think is a huge issue. I think they should be probably trying to bowl him in the middle overs a little bit more and try and change the combination out the back end. For me, I think they should get rid of Cummins tonight and bring in Ferguson. I think they really need to change that pace attack. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Thanks for that, Tanmoy. Abhishek, how are you going? Thanks very much for that little 40 rupee donation. SRH, lack depth. Should they play Holder or Nabby? I don't look. This is where it really becomes a bit sticky. Who are you going to drop? Are you going to drop Bairstow or Williamson? Or you're going to drop the captain Warner with the way that he played last night, because you need those three particular players to make the bulk of your runs, and you're not going to drop Rashid Khan. So, yeah, it's a big one. I'd like to get Holder in there just to give you more options with the ball, and probably can handle the bat a little bit better than Nabby. If you're going to get rid of someone, you'd probably have to get rid of Bairstow and bring Saha in if you're not willing to change the captaincy role. So for me, I don't like doing that. I like the way that they've got their Indian quicks lined up. I think they do a great job. You've got Boovy to come back into that lineup. I don't know why he missed last night. I thought he'd be right last night. But Boovy coming back into that lineup, they're fine. They don't need those two particular all-rounders. And that's the thing when you pick your squad. You don't have enough Indian batting depth to do the job. You're relying on those overseas players, and then you've got a couple of players like Holder and Nabby that are very good quality all-rounders that you can't utilise them because you've got Rashid Khan there. So really, if you look at the balance of their squad, they haven't really balanced it that well. And they've been very lucky. The reason why they've been successful is because the overseas players have made the bulk of the runs, and the Indian bowlers have really stood up and not put the pressure on Rashid Khan as we saw last night. So, yeah, the balance of their squad is a bit of a question mark, and I can't see Holder or Nabby getting into that balanced 11. It's a tough question, that one that's making me really think, but they do lack depth. I agree with you there. Atal Baral, how are you going? Am I the only person whose affinity for the IPL has decreased due to 2 IPL seasons within the space of 5 months? IPL, look, I just think it's, I think if you're living over in India, I think it would be a good thing, because then you've got something to look forward to at the end of the day, some bit of excitement. But you don't want the IPLs too close together, and I think that's something that the ICC and cricket boards around the world have to look at, is the amount of cricket that we're playing, both internationally and the T20 tournaments going around. I think sometimes you can oversaturate the market, and sometimes there can be too much cricket on the TV. We want quality rather than quantity. But for me at the moment, I still think the IPL's been quite good. But it's been a little bit different too because there haven't been too many high scoring games. It's been more low scoring games, which might make a difference as well. And we don't have a crowd there as well. And we've probably had 2 tournaments in a row where we haven't had any crowd. So that's probably making a huge difference in this IPL as well. You look at the big stadium of Ahmedabad and it's empty. You just want that one to be filled up. It's just such a brilliant stadium. So tonight, I think the Delhi Capitals are going to beat KKR. I don't want to say that, but I just think they've probably got a better quality lineup. And then in the other game, Mumbai Indians against Rajasthan Royals, I'm going for a little bit of an upset here. I think Rajasthan Royals might topple the big boys because I just think they might be finding the pressure a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mumbai win. But RR and DC for me tonight. Have a good day, guys. And follow me on Twitter @Brad_Hogg and Instagram @Brad_Hogg. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.